All right, so the Dior Homme scent profile, that is a scent profile that I would say over the past several years, I've tried to like when it comes to like the different flankers in that particular line. Out of all the ones that I had smelled, at least up until here recently, I would say the only one that I really kind of liked and actually purchased and wore was the Dior Homme Sport Flanker. So I have also smelled Dior Homme, the original one, as well as Dior Homme O. And those, at least just for my taste, I couldn't really get into them, at least at the time that I smelled them. So after seeing this particular clone of another Dior Homme flanker, I kind of shied away from getting this one because I was like, I don't really necessarily know if I'm gonna like this, and more than likely I'm probably not, based off of my, sort of experience with the other flankers within the line. But I can definitely say that I was wrong about that, and I do really, really love this fragrance a lot. So this is going to be a clone of Dior Homme Intense, and this is out of Wataniah Kayaan Classic. All right. So here is the presentation for this particular bottle, and this is going to be, again, Kayaan Classic, and you have that written here. It's kind of like in this sort of textured design. You've got Eau de Parfum 100 ml down here at the bottom. You've got Al Wataniah written up there at the top of the box. You've got nothing on the sides of the box, nothing on the bottom, and on the back, you've got Kayaan, the ingredients, barcode, QR code, all of that. All right. And so then basically the fragrance just kind of sits inside of here. You've got the same design up here at the top. This is not textured at all, but it is textured also on the actual bottle itself. All right. And then here is the bottle. All right. So it's a very sort of simplistic sort of design here, but it does look pretty high end, at least in my opinion. So you've got Kayaan Classic written on here, and again, like that textured design. You've got this cap on here that is definitely strong enough to pick the fragrance up by the cap. It is a really nice, I would say, metal cap that feels pretty high quality. And then the sprayer on this is, I would say, pretty average. It's not really the best sprayer, but it's not the worst that I've seen either. And then at the bottom here, you've got Eau de Parfum 80% alcohol. All right. So when comparing this fragrance, with the original Dior Homme Intense, I can definitely say that this is going to be probably one of the best on the market. Now, I haven't smelled, I believe there's another one called like Camaro Intense. I think that one might be from Paris Corner or maybe even Maison Alhambra. I can't remember which one that one is, but this one, from what I've, been told, and definitely what I can smell, is, going to be one of the best. Now, I have heard of another fragrance that actually supposedly does this particular scent profile even better than this. However, I can't find it anywhere in the United States. Also, I don't remember what the name of it is, mainly because, again, I can't buy the fragrance anyway. So we're going to be getting into, kind of how this particular fragrance smells, how it performs, and, how it kind of compares to the original. But first, I'm just going to go over the notes of Dior Homme Intense. So in the top, you have lavender. In the mid, you have iris, ambrette, and pear. And then in the base, you have Virginia cedar and vetiver. So pretty simple note breakdown for this fragrance. Just to kind of get straight into the smell of the two fragrances, the one thing that I noticed when I initially spray this fragrance on and smell it side by side with the original Dior is this fragrance, it just seems to be smoother than what the Dior is. I would say smoother and slightly more powdery than what the Dior is. So yeah, I would say that the iris on this one, definitely, it seems to be a little bit smoother, a little bit more kind of buttery. Whereas I would say that the Dior Homme Intense, it seems to be slightly more diffusive. Um, Now, I would say really that's actually going to be for like the first few minutes of the fragrance. So like the first initial opening, it seems like that. Now that I'm kind of smelling these two after they've been kind of sprayed on, and I mean, these two have been sprayed on these strips for less than 10 minutes, I believe, at this point. Um, I can say definitely the Dior Homme seems to be losing some of the strength that it had over the Kayaan Classic. And the Kayaan Classic does seem to be, stronger, and I would say slightly sort of denser than, what the Dior is. No, that's on tester strips. I feel like when I actually wore the two on skin, the Dior, I would say really throughout the entire life of the fragrance, seemed to be stronger than what the Kayaan Classic was. Now, I would say it's probably been about a week or so since the last time I actually wore this fragrance on skin. So, it could just be that this fragrance is getting, a little bit stronger as time goes on. But yeah, at least here on the tester strip, I will say that the Kayaan Classic seems to be slightly stronger. Now, pretty much if you're not familiar with the way that Dior Homme, Intense smells, it's really just, I would say, a really sort of powdery iris scent that I would say for some people may consider it to be like a sort of feminine leaning sort of scent. In my opinion, it's not. So even though it does kind of have like this sort of lipsticky sort of smelling iris in the fragrance, I feel like it's still like a really sort of dry, woody, but at the same time kind of powdery and clean sort of masculine scent, at least in my opinion. So that was the main thing that I was kind of worried about, and why I never really kind of delved into Dior Homme Intense or Dior Homme Parfum, despite I guess you could say the rave reviews for that scent profile. Was I just figured when people kind of mentioned that this fragrance had like a lipsticky sort of iris sort of feel to it, I automatically thought, okay, that's probably gonna be a feminine scent. And at least in my opinion, it's not. It definitely is not. This is definitely, I would say, something that I would more so recommend as kind of like a date night scent when you're like really getting dressed up. So like you're going to like a super fancy restaurant, or maybe you're going to some sort of really upscale sort of event where you're having to dress up in like a suit and tie or something like that. That is definitely, I would say, probably going to be the best usage for this particular fragrance. You can still wear this, I would say, casually, just kind of chilling around the house or something like that if you wanted to. But I would say that's probably not going to be the best use of this fragrance. So if you are someone that just really loves the way that this one smells, then I would say, especially if you're buying the Wataniah Kayaan Classic version of the fragrance, and you're not, spending the $100 or so on the, original from Dior, then yeah, this could definitely be one that you could, just kind of wear as like your signature scent every day and not really worry about, how much you're spending on it, because this bottle, I believe, only goes for about $100 or so. Or I'm sorry, not $100, about $40. So you're really not spending that much money, and you're getting a full 100 ml bottle for this. So definitely, I would say if you're someone who owns Dior Homme Intense, and you're kind of holding on to that fragrance because you don't know if you're going to be able to buy another bottle in the future of it, and you really love that scent profile, then I definitely think that this one is absolutely worth picking up. And you're going to get the same experience pretty much that you get from the original from Dior. Um, Also, I would say if you're someone who maybe wants to try the scent profile and you don't necessarily want to spend like $100 or more on the original from Dior just based off of what other people are saying, then I would also say that picking up the Wataniah Kayaan Classic would also be a really good decision as well, because even if you don't like this fragrance, I would say you should be able to pretty much get your money back in, a sale of this fragrance, because it is slightly hard to find on a lot of different websites, I would say. And so there's always going to be people looking for a bottle of this, I feel like, especially with how many people love, Dior Homme Intense. So just in terms of like the actual performance of this fragrance, like I said, as of right now, this does seem to be performing just slightly better than what Dior Homme Intense is in terms of like the projection. Now, in terms of like the overall longevity, that I can say I got like about 7.5 to 8 hours or so of total longevity with this fragrance. With the Dior, I feel like I got about the same amount. So those two seem to be about the same. But like I said, definitely the way that this is coming off on my skin anyway, or at least on the tester strip, I'm sorry, this definitely seems to be coming off, I would say, a little bit more denser, slightly louder, and definitely I would say it's coming off as being a little bit more powdery for sure. All right. Yeah, definitely a little bit more powdery. Now, in terms of just like I would say the closeness of smell, right? This is going to be, I would say, at least about 90 to 95% close to the original. All right, for sure. Um, I'm not sure really how much closer you can get, to the original than what this one does. Like I said, there is another fragrance out there that for whatever reason is not being sold anywhere in the United States that people have said, definitely come a little bit closer than what this one does. But I'm pretty happy with the way that this fragrance smells compared to the original. And it's not one of those situations where the original Dior smells so much more different from this one to where it makes me want to go out and buy the original from Dior. That's not the case at all. I would say I'm 1000% happy with, just wearing this fragrance, over the original Dior. All right. So if I'm going to give this fragrance a rating from, 1 to 10, this is easily going to be, I would say, about a 9.5 out of 10. I definitely am kind of, mad at myself that I didn't pick this fragrance up, earlier and kind of do a video on it, because, like I said, I didn't really think that I would even like the scent profile. But what I did was I just went ahead and picked up a sample of Dior Homme Intense first to kind of smell, how the fragrance smelled. I got a sample of this and the Parfum. And after smelling the two, I was like, okay, I could definitely see how people like this particular scent profile, really for both of them. I do prefer the Intense over the Parfum. The Parfum just seemed to be a little bit too dense and too strong, at least to my liking, I would say. This one is, I would say, in terms of strength, I would say it's pretty much perfect. It's not like a super weak fragrance, but it's not as beast mode, I would say, as what the Parfum was, at least on my skin anyway. All right. So again, if you're looking for like a really sort of upscale, high-end, designer, almost, sort of niche quality smelling fragrance, then I would absolutely recommend picking up Kayaan Classic from Wataniah. I'll have links in the description to where you can buy this. I picked this one up from fragrancebuy.ca. The usual place where I would normally see this was vanityfragrance.com. From what I could see when I, went to go purchase this fragrance, Celine was out of this fragrance on the website. So if he does now have this in stock again, then I'll have a link to, get it from there as well, so that you all can use my Vegas Sense 10, discount code to get 10% off. But if not, then, I would say definitely Fragrance Buy should still have this fragrance. All right. So let me know in the comments, what do you all think about Wataniah's Kayaan Classic? How close do you all think that this comes to the original fragrance? And would you say that this actually replaces Dior Homme Intense for you? After smelling the fragrance, like, do you think you'll probably never really need to go out and buy another bottle of that original fragrance after, getting your hands on this one? All right. So let me know in the comments. And also, if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And to everyone watching, do me a favor, also leave a like and a comment on the video. And again, that's Jamar from Vegas Sense. I'll see you all in the next video.